Good morning. Scripture says where two or three are gathered, the Lord is in the midst of that crowd. I once heard an interpretation that says where two or three are gathered, there is drama. Yes or yes? I've heard an acronym for Bible is Basic Instruction for Living While on Earth. And we look at Scripture today to help us make sense of how we better negotiate and navigate that drama. So I want to give you an image and then an invitation. For those of you who have been married in the church, part of your preparation was to do what we called a focus inventory. You all familiar with that? It's a question and answer, I think, over 100 questions. And what it does is it helps us with the couple in terms of compatibility, from 0 to 100. And it looks at 10 or 12 different life issues, from communication to parenting to religious values to finances, all of those things. And so the couple take their test individually, and then after they're finished, the computer gives us a graph. And they score from 0 to 100. It's a tool. That's what I tell the couple. Imagine that we are offering this toolbox. And so what I tell young people is it's not if, but it's when that argument takes place, right? And as you prepare to be married, then you have a strategy to go to. So keep that image in mind of a toolbox. Jesus is giving us very practical ways in which to deal with conflict. Because we know that as human people, things happen. When I was in college, my freshman year, I had conflict with the priest, pastor of the Newman Center. I didn't understand. Because I didn't understand, then we were called into this mediation. Third person had to come in to help me to better listen. And that really is the invitation that Scripture is giving us today. The responsorial psalm, and then in the gospel, there are 5 references to how we listen. We don't listen very well, do we? Because we're so distracted. From the time that we get up in the morning, and I don't know how you get up, whether you ask Alexa to set your alarm before you go to sleep, or whether you have it on your phone, or whether you have a clock, but however you choose to get up, from the moment that our eyes wake up to the moment that we go back to sleep, we're bombarded with distraction. We're bombarded with noise. And in the midst of all of that, the Lord is trying to speak to us. Just this morning, little Gino told me how he's serving because he heard God asking him to do so. This little boy in our community is a witness for us, how we can better appreciate how God is calling each one of us. When I couldn't understand what was going on as a freshman in college, I went to the campus minister, Sister Anna Marie Broxman. And this is what she said to me. She said, "He will teach you something." Isn't that great wisdom? So I was able to take a step back and to say, what did I learn and what did he teach me? So if any of you are going through some conflict right now that you don't understand, perhaps the invitation is, what am I learning through this process? What is God trying to tell me? How is God trying to expand my vision? So it's that there was a misunderstanding, had to do a mediation, and then finally it was this moment of conversion, what we call in the Greek metanoia. That there's this change that has to happen. And as much as I wanted to point the finger and say, but it was him, it was the other guy, I had to look at my own life. and ask the question, how am I responding? How do we respond to conflict? Well, gosh, there are many unhealthy ways that we can choose. But the Lord is telling us, if you have a conflict with someone, go to that person directly. Tim, I understand that we have a conflict. Can we talk about it? Those things are difficult. Confrontation is not easy, especially in families. Those things can get heated pretty quickly, can't they? 6 boys, 1 girl under one roof was intense. My poor mother was always playing referee. But somehow we managed. And so the Lord is inviting us to reconciliation today. So that we, as we are in right relationship with God, so we can be in right relationship with each other. It's terrible when we're not in right relationship, isn't it? I mean, there's something that's off and we don't feel good and we're not in the right space. And the Lord knows that, and that's why He's inviting us to fix things, to get our life right. And then in that, there's this hesitation that I'll wait until tomorrow, or I'll wait until I have the perfect response. Truth be told, sometimes our life is a mess, isn't it? Mine is, sometimes, especially when I'm talking to my sister, and it's late at night, and I don't know that I want to hear what she has to say because she's the prophet in my life. You know, she has no filters, and she just says what she says because she loves me. And I know that. And I appreciate it, but I don't always like it. Who is the prophet in your life? Who's the person in your life who loves you enough to say, perhaps you should consider this? As we come together, friends, in the prayer of this Mass, we bring the messiness of our lives to the Lord. I was reading an article yesterday in the paper, and it was talking about family. It was a father, a mother, their son, and their daughter. And that the article was talking about the great division that they're going through right now because of conflict between dad and son, and how that conflict has just rippled and torn that family apart. And they're trying to make sense of the pieces of their life. What seems impossible to us is not impossible to God. We believe in the God of possibility. And so perhaps we bring those pieces to the Lord today. And we surrender and we let go and we say, Lord, you recreate us. You renew us in only the way that you can do. Friends, as we come to receive Holy Communion today, it is an opportunity for us to give our lives to God in total and true surrender. And in exchange, we get the very essence of God. We call it food for journey. As we feed our physical body, so we feed our spiritual body, so that we can go back and navigate and negotiate the conflicts of our life.